The following is a special presentation of Tony Curry Radio. Keep your mission on your mind and your mind on your mission. This is Mission Minded with Michael Coleman.
Welcome back to a very special Mission Minded. Keep your mind and your mission in your mind. It's a good Friday as we record this show. Happy early Easter to you, my friend. Michael Coleman, the CEO of the Heart of Alabama Food Bank, joins us every single week. This is, I kind of feel selfish here because not only is he a business partner of mine, but he's a very dear friend of mine. I just really get off on getting a chance to talk to you every single week, and I can sit and talk to you for hours on hours. And the fact that we're actually doing business is a win-win for me. So I appreciate you, and happy Easter to you, my friend.
You as well. It's a special time of the year where, in my particular church, we take communion each week, and a lot of denominations will do that. I know Catholics do Mass and sometimes daily, but some people don't do it but once a month or once a quarter, even once a year. And but I recognize this is the one day where everybody focuses on to me, the most important event that's ever happened, and that's the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus and how it changed the world and continues to change the world.
I've tried to really spend a lot more time studying and reading my Bible the week of Easter and trying to prioritize what it actually means. I think it's really important to visualize what Jesus had to go through to carry his cross and to see how he was tortured. And it puts me in tears every single year, but it's just something that I feel like really helps me have a more intimate relationship with my Lord and Savior. And really, you're looking at Holy Thursday, that is where we get the blood and the bread of Christ. It's where we get the body, and the Last Supper, and certainly the betrayal. If you don't know the story, you probably should. It's a great story. But yeah, that's where we got it from. That's where we got it. And it was actually kind of neat at OLV last night. I stopped in and our priest actually washed some feet last night, which I thought was another big part of that Last Supper. Jesus actually washed feet. And of course, Peter Simon saying, "You're not going to wash my feet." And I'm thinking to myself, that's one of those things where, the first is last, the last is first. So all kinds of great measurements in part of that. So
absolutely.
Well, God bless you, man, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. This kind of goes along with something you sent out a couple of weeks ago, and I think it's perfect for an Easter weekend as he gets ready to rise here. Tiny lifestyle upgrades that can make a difference in your happiness levels, according to psychology. I think it's always funny. Everything's psychology, right? So it doesn't matter whether it's according to psychology or not. And so I went through the list of 8 different things, and I'm just going to kind of go one by one and fill me on some different things because I certainly want to add a couple things. And really, there's none of these in here that are like, wow, I didn't think about that. But there's some things that I think we need to hear again. And I will say this, I've been going through a 12-step program and certain through a lot of therapy issues. And I mentioned to you, I'm going to be speaking down in Shelby County next weekend. A lot of this stuff is routine. Everything from your prayer to your gratitude list. A lot of it's self-help. But boy, I tell you what, when life changes and you got a lot going on and you forget to do these things for a couple of weeks, you feel it. You start thinking something's different. Something's not working out right. I'm not sleeping right, or I don't feel right, or I'm not happy right now. What is it? And it usually goes back to you forgot, or you all of a sudden have decided you're not going to pray. And it's not that you don't want to, it's just you forget. You forget. We got a busy life. We have a lot going on. You're so tired. You don't even think to pray before you go to bed. So I want to go through some of these. And one of them is a morning gratitude list, which I think is really interesting. I think because most of us just want to get our feet on the ground and get that first cup of coffee down our throats. But talk about that a little bit because it's super important.
Yeah, because, let's just take gratitude just for a second. So I was talking with somebody the other day, and she's going through a divorce. I just recently went through a divorce. We've talked about that a little bit, and it is when you're trying to settle finances and you're trying to decide who's going to pay what and debt and all those kind of things, and it can be overwhelming. And then you're just every day, and you've got the normal struggles of life, and then a major payment comes up and that you weren't expecting, just on and on and on. And so she was looking at some bill consolidation, like, how do I do it? And and it was really had her down. And I said, listen, do you realize that if you build, this was a time where I was encouraging her to consolidate her bills, but she had three different choices. I said, instead of being overwhelmed by that, uh, take just a second to reframe your mindset and think about this. You have three options available to you to go borrow the money that you need to restructure your finances. And yes, it's stressful. I get it. But do you know how many people have problems with debt and other things and don't have any outlet whatsoever?
True.
So but that example could be used in anything in life. The problem is that our minds naturally gravitate to what's wrong. So we could have so many positive things going on in our life, but we just gravitate to what's not perfect, to what's not right. And then we sit in that. And from a spiritual standpoint, we forget that we're blessed to live in the greatest country with the most freedoms, with the most wealth, with the most, just on and on and on. So for me, for a long time, my greatest prayer time is typically in the 10 to 15-minute drive from my house to work in the morning, where it's quiet, no radio, no noise. And lots of times I just start with just what I've already experienced that day. I got up from sleeping in a warm, comfortable bed in the winter and a cool room in the summer. I got to walk 15 feet from my bed and get in a hot shower because I turn a handle. I got to dress in clothes that I know were appropriate for the day, whatever that may be. I got to leave my house and I had coffee, I could eat a breakfast, but I got to leave my house and get in a car that I was pretty confident I was going to crank up and get me to work, and go into a job that I love and I'm passionate. I mean, you can overwhelm yourself with if you just think how blessed we are. And what it does, it really ratchets you up for the day, that if you start out in a hugely positive perspective, and let's say you get hit with a lot of negative things, boy, you've got some bandwidth to take the negative. But if all you do is focus on the negative, then you're already operating at a deficit. And so when more stress happens, or more brokenness happens, or more life happens, you don't have anywhere to put it. But the difference is you don't have to do anything to gravitate to the negative. It's just something about us as humans. We focus on what's wrong and not on what's right. So you have to be very intentional, and to be intentional and purposeful, it takes effort, it takes focus, it takes all those things. So it's a small little thing, and no matter what you're looking at, you can always pull out that silver lining, but it has to be a mindset, and has to be, it's a tiny thing, but it really can change your whole mood and outlook on things.
Well, I did it this morning. And I can feel it. I can know it when you get in that funk, that little bit of a funk. And I'm like, okay, sit back, stop for a minute, turn everything off, start praying, pausing and praying, peeing and peeing, and figure out, what exactly is bothering you, whether you have to write it out or not. And you're right. It all starts with gratitude. A lot of people, and I've certainly seen this with my ex and some people that I'm close to who ever been going through any type of depression. A lot of psychologists, the first thing they will say is start doing a gratitude list before you do anything in the morning. Start writing down everything from just a cup of coffee, the smallest things, and be gratitude. My life sucks. It's terrible. You have things that you're grateful for, believe it or not. And sometimes, I've got a friend of mine who, God love him, has just had a life dump on him. And I'm not saying that he didn't create a lot of this on himself. But he's got a brother that used to be in the service. He's got an amputated leg. They've had a hard time finding a place to live. He lives off Social Security. He'll text me and ask me Venmo him or PayPal him, $10, $10, He'll do that a couple of times a week. And I always try to remember, and last week it was like, can you send me $10 because I need to get a prescription, or $10 because he needed to do a load of laundry. He's using a portable laundry machine, which I don't even, I
Yeah,
didn't even know existed. He doesn't even have enough money to do his own. And man, that really put things in perspective for me because I'm thinking to myself, this poor guy can't even come up with $6 to do his own laundry. And so you want to help people
yeah,
like that. Now, and you've seen this too, because you worked at the
sure,
Jimmy Hill Mission. You saw people rock bottom that had nothing, and
sure.
you certainly saw their success story. So yeah, you do have things to be grateful for. And I always try to remember that everything is a blessing, even the bad stuff. If something's happening
Absolutely.
for a reason, there's a blessing. It may not be the type of blessing you're used to, but everything's a blessing. So try to understand that and then bear witness to everyone around you because people are watching. And when they see what kind of life you're living and they see how happy you are, it gives them
Yeah,
hope. And that's a
yeah,
God thing. Um,
yeah,
Tiny exercise burst. That's another thing about, I remember a friend of mine who had depression, and her psychiatrist said, ask her if she'll run to the stop sign and back. And I said, okay. And he goes, you'd be surprised what a difference that makes. Explain what a tiny burst, first of all, from a medical standpoint, from a chemical standpoint, it does. It induces
yeah,
different things in your brain for a very short period of time.
yeah,
But
yeah.
whatever it is to knock that funk off its legs for just a second, if it means running down to a stop sign and back, that can make a big difference. Or maybe taking the stairs instead of the elevator.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that, the running down the street. That's a great idea kind of thing. But
It works.
but I'm gonna tell you, this hit home with me because there are times where I go, I've really let myself get out of shape. I mean, I don't want to walk out, take my shirt off. I look like a bag of onions at the beach. You know, I don't want. So lots of times I was so overwhelming. It's like, man, I need to lose weight. I need to work out. I need to get, and we always think big. I got to get a gym membership. I get all that kind of stuff. But I have found myself sometimes watching shows like I love watching MMA, mixed martial arts. And sometimes, or you watch a sport and you're like, man, I need to do something. And so I was just sitting there like a little tiny burst. So there's been times where I've just been on the couch. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to get down here on the floor and I'm going to do some push-ups and I'm going to do some stretching or I may be down there 5 minutes, but at least exercise some muscles there. My coffee is making in the morning, I have a what is the automate? It doesn't matter. But anyway, I
Oh,
wait for the cup to fill up and I may just hold on the counter. I may just do some knee bends. I mean, it's just like while it's waiting. And that's what this whole thing was about. Like little tiny little bursts, like while you're waiting on something in line, stretch something. You know, of course I get it. You don't want to do that too much out in public. But there's been so many times I've just gotten out on the floor and tried to do some push-ups or try to do some sit-ups or try to do some stretching. And I'm like, it didn't change the world, but it's just something about utilizing those muscles. And it's not a big thing. It took 5 minutes and I got right back up on the couch, but it can really it's amazing what the human body does. And I don't know the science behind it. I just know that I've done it a million times and it's really helped me.
no, man, you're talking about serotonin. You're talking about all these different chemicals that are released.
Yeah.
And then you don't know what else is being released, the chain reaction that comes along with
That's
something like that, because then your body starts, it's like walking the dog. If you walk the dog every day at 3 o'clock, it's going to start coming up at your 2:45. It doesn't have a watch on. It's going to know it's time to go for a
that's
walk.
right. That's
And
right.
so that's super important. And when you talk about doing 5 or 10, it's one thing we want it right now. We want everything right now. That's why these fat pills are doing so well. We want to lose all of our weight in 1 month. When we don't realize the most healthy way to do that is to lose about a pound and a half a week over the course of a year. You've
Yeah.
lost 60 pounds and you're in great shape. And that way you don't have to give up everything you love.
Yeah.
Enact mindful breaks. Kind of know what that means. Do you have anything you want to talk about there?
Yeah, well, yeah, because we like you talked about our schedules are so busy. We go from one thing to the next, and now we're in a society where we can't even go to the bathroom without our phones
Mm-hmm.
because we don't want even when we have a few minutes, we fill it with something because our minds can't be at rest. And look, I'm telling you this. I'm a full-fledged hypocrite. All right, because I'm constantly scrolling on my phone. But the idea is when you find yourself, and again, this goes back to being purposeful, take break. When you find yourself can take some breaks, do things that are mindful, like don't just rush from one task to the other. And I get sometimes that's unavoidable. Hey, I've got 4 things to do. I've got 30 minutes to do it, no break. But throughout the day, try to take a break and go outside and just stand in the sun for 5 minutes and just absorb the fresh air, be mindful. Don't fill it with something. Get away from your desk, get away from whatever trouble it is, and do something. It can just be lay down or sit down, sit back and just meditate. And again, maybe that takes you back to your gratefulness. Maybe it just takes you back of you're trying to blank your mind out for a little bit and just slow your mind down and just again, it's part of the mental health, it's part of self-care, it's just part of managing more effectively the time rather than just rushing from one task to the other.
One thing that a lot of people need to do, it would make things so much more easy. I know that like Rocket Mortgage does it with all these subscriptions we have, but simplify your digital life. There are all kinds of different apps where you can go, and if you post something on Instagram, X, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever, you post on one, it'll post on multiple. So that way you're not have to post or and a lot of people that are obviously in a business world, you have to have multiple accounts for social media and things like that. But just overall, it's set up to be very, very easy, but it does take a little bit of a time to sit down and set it up for yourself. But normally by the time you put the time in to do that, it starts kind of taking care of itself.
Well, this is what makes me hate all the spammers out there and all
There
the
you
people who try to break into your account because now you have to get double verification, which I get it. That's a safety issue. But just this morning for my Rotary Club, so I'm incoming president of my Rotary Club. I'm going to do a year president-elect but I'm helping them. The guy who handled it all passed away. So we're trying to get our email account, our website, our Facebook, all of that. And so everybody's got these safeguards up and we're like, no, we're not the bad guys. This is our club kind of thing. And just going through all that and unpacking all that and it on top of just your own personal stuff and then stuff for the Heart of Alabama Food Bank, it seems I spend hours a day. I mean, to the point, and it's so frustrating when you're the honest guy just trying to get in and handle your business. I just want to flip a desk and walk out. It's so frustrating sometimes. But some of this is, you have to step into the digital age. There's some of that's unavoidable. But then there's some of that stuff that you're like, well, I keep signing up for stuff. I keep adding stuff. So I get uh, uh, all these people who send you newsletters just nonstop, and we overwhelm ourselves where we can't. Yeah, it's just all part of not being able to slow our minds down, which goes into what the article was talking about the sleep. I have found myself waking up every morning at 3:30, and a lot of people just say, "Well, that's just old man-itis." You're just not going to be able to sleep straight through, like you used to could. And I thought to myself, well, is part of that because my mind's not used to calming down? Of course, again, I'm guilty of what they tell you not to do, which is do not look on your phone because that keeps your mind revved up. And you're going and I'm just scrolling on my phone. I'm scrolling on Facebook or Instagram. You're scrolling on news and your mind's actively engaged. It's not busy shutting down. And then sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I lay there and I'm like, don't get on your phone. And then you start having these other random thoughts. You're trying to control your thoughts. I mean, it's where we are today. And you can recommend to people, don't get caught. But bottom line is, you and I both know you have to. I mean, we're on technology. We're using technology right now through a Zoom, through podcast. You can't make it in this world and avoid technology. So what you're going to have to do is put healthy boundaries up. And I'm still learning how to do that. I almost need a parent in my life to say, Michael, it's time to go to bed. Turn your phone off.
And we're all different. We're all different. You mentioned last week, you mentioned Donald Trump. He's got this thing where he sleeps 4 hours a day and works 18. It's not for everybody. And I think we, Americans primarily too, Europeans don't do this as much, but we've been told that the longer we work, the more we get done. And really, we're spending a lot of times working, but we're really not doing anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We go to
Yeah.
work for 12, 13. We sit there and say we work 60 hours a week, but we're really only working 20. The other times are just time spent in the office doing whatever. But I will say this, and again, a lot of this bears back on depression, things like that. It all starts with sleep. The first thing they will do when you're feeling bad or feeling in a funk or not happy is they will ask you to get a sleep study. It's the first thing that they always
Yeah.
say, get a sleep study. I sleep great. I don't care. Go get a sleep study, find out what the deal is, because if you're not getting that good 7, 8 hours, and you're right. I mean, I was up at 3 o'clock this morning. Um, I've gotten to the point now where I don't even fight anymore. I just get up and I turn the TV
Yeah.
on, and then I'll fall back to sleep. But then I'm kind of groggy for the rest of the day, and I almost feel
Yeah.
like I'm being sedated. It's not. I'm not tired. I'm sedated. I'm at the point where I could fall asleep while I drive, which is not a good thing. But man, that sleep is so important because it affects everything. I
It
mean,
does.
it affects your sleeping habits. It affects your eating habits. It affects your diet. It affects your relationships. It affects. I mean, it affects everything. So it's
You
super
know,
important.
isn't it funny as you and I have gotten old, we're the same age, but as we've gotten old, one of the things you realize is all the punishments that you had um, as a child, all the things you hated to do, now you crave to do.
Mhm.
Like your parents used to send you to your room, or you have to go to bed.
Oh,
Oh, I long to get in the bed and go to sleep. Or they say, you got to eat all the food on your plate. That's not a
well,
problem anymore. So
haircuts,
all those things.
haircuts. I used to hate haircuts. Haircuts are the best thing in the world now. I mean,
That's right.
you got a beautiful woman rubbing your head for 45 minutes while she cuts your hair. I mean, how good is that?
That's right.
I get a haircut
You
every
can't
week if
beat
I
it,
could.
can you?
Yeah, I mean, it's just no, and that's one thing where I've been doing morning radio. I've been doing morning for 30 something years, and so I always took a nap. It was part of
Yeah.
my deal, and you're not going to take my nap away from me. And even even
Yeah.
when I wasn't tired, I got my nap time, and I still do to this point now. I take 2 or 3 naps a day. I'll take a quick little 20 minutes,
Oh
whatever,
yeah.
and it's
Oh, I
something
love a
to enjoy.
nap.
I do too, man. I'm all about it. Micro goals for the day. No one
Yeah,
likes
let
to
me
be
tell you.
micromanaged. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I will tell you, when I so one of the things I always battle is always um, since I got out of the military, I gained 75 pounds, from my fighting days, I like to call it. So, and I've lost a little bit of weight, but I'm like, it's something I got to manage. And of course, I eat like a raccoon in the bottom of a dumpster, like just and so I'm always battling that. So a micro goal, this is a great example of where something like this helps me. If I go, okay, I want to do intermediate fasting just to try to curb the amount of food that I have. So I might say, okay, just today, I want to make sure that I don't eat anything before this time and I don't eat anything after this time. Okay. And so instead of going, hey, I'm going to complete intermittent fasting, which that's what I want to do, but I take it a day at a time.
Mhm.
And so it's a micro goal of a daily thing. And the reason I do that is because if I have, hey, I'm going to go intermediate fasting. Well, let's say something happens, and it does, where you go to you have a breakfast meeting, or man, you're just so hungry you can't stand it, you got to go ahead and eat something. Well, instead of blowing a whole plan, it's like, no. I didn't do well today. So I had a micro goal of doing it today, but tomorrow I can start over and say, okay, no, today's the day. And lots of times too, when I come in, my desk is messy. I'm like, I got so much to do. I don't look at it as I've got to do it all. I might pick out three things and say, okay, I, even if I don't complete it, I want to get to this part of it.
Mhm.
So little things, and then I feel accomplished, as opposed to I've got 20 things on my list. I may have done four things, completed four things, but you don't leave here feeling like you've accomplished anything. But when you have smaller goals, just bite size, that's that whole thing. You can't eat an elephant in a day.
Yeah.
So it's just bite by bite. But if you can set the bite as a goal, as a micro goal, then it's like, well, the project's not finished, but I accomplished something that I intended, and that it comes back in a way of self gratification. Like you feel accomplished, you feel, hey, I completed something. You feel better about yourself, your own self worth, your own self esteem. You leave here every day going home like, hey, I earned my money today. I did some good
Mhm.
things. And
Very good.
again, it's a mindset, but it's really not trying to bite off too much. And then when you can't get it all done, not only are you working yourself to death, but you're leaving there discouraged that you don't feel, well, what difference did I make today?
Yeah.
And
No, it's great. Great
so,
point. Great point. I write down a list of things that I got to do every single day. And some of it could be, I even have a nap in there just so I can mark something
oh
off because
yeah,
it's something that, I mean, it could be the easiest stuff. Make sure you go,
a
sweat,
nap can definitely be a goal.
that yeah. And so if I'm knocking
Absolutely.
out 4 or 5 of those things, and then normally what happens at the end of the day, I'll go, man, what the hell did I do today? And when I start going through my 10 step then and doing another gratitude list, then I start thinking, okay, I did this, and I go, wait a minute,
Yeah.
I got quite a bit done today. So
Well,
that's
now that I'm having to do all the chores and washing, now that I'm a single man, I'm doing a lot of micro goals. Like I'm like, okay, the whole house needs to be done.
Mhm.
But you know what? When I get home from work today, I'm gonna vacuum and mop, and if I can just knock that out, I don't have to worry about the rest of the house. And the next day, I'm like, okay, all I'm gonna focus on is laundry. So it's little micro goals. I don't go in and go, oh, this house is a wreck. I got to clean the whole house. I just bite it off a little bit at a time. And I'm telling you, it really helps me.
What about building pockets of connections? Um, I know that you've got to have something to say about this because you're Mr. Connections. You are Mr. Building pockets of connections, and it could be. And I think you and I have done this to each other several times. Hey, thinking about you. Hope you're having a great day.
Yeah,
It could
yeah,
come out of
yeah,
nowhere, and that stuff, man. Oh my gosh, talk about putting a little extra gas in the tank for yourself, just to
yeah,
let someone know you. It makes you feel as good as the person's receiving it.
yeah. Because let me tell you, if somebody reaches out to me, so again, when I think about it, I just want to think about it from my perspective. But how do I feel when this similar thing happens to me? When somebody sends me something, just hey man, I'm thinking about you. Praying for you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing okay with the world. Just all those kind of things. And I'm sitting there like, man, somebody has their whole world and they're taking time to think about me and to pray for me. It really makes me feel good. So there are times where I sometimes will just, okay, I've got 10 or 15 minutes on my couch. Instead of just sitting there and vegging out again in front of the TV, I'm just gonna pull my phone out instead of scrolling on Facebook. I'm gonna maybe scroll through my calendar and just see people I've recently met with and to think about what's going on there, things that they share with me, or go through my contacts. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna send this person a text just to say, and my Rotary Club's a great example. We have such a great, it's not a huge club, it's about 35 people, but I have some of the best people in the world in my Rotary Club. And we're even called the Fun Club. We really genuinely love each other. But to take a few minutes to say to the club president, hey, thank you for doing that. I think you're doing a great job. Or, hey, I heard an update on you. I'm really proud of you, or thinking about you. And it builds such goodwill. And when you do that, that people value that so much. It's such a small effort on our part, but it will pay dividends because what you're doing is you're building on the foundation of a relationship that lots of times without that, it's like, oh yeah, I see this guy 2 or 3 times a year.
Hmm.
But if you're just touching base and just you're building your network and you're growing, and you're not doing it for that, but I'm telling you, when you get jammed up in life where you maybe lose a job and you need a new job, you need as many people in your network as possible. You can't have enough then, but it's not going to happen on its own. You have to invest in other people and pouring into other people because eventually there's going to come a time to where you're going to need people to pour into you. And if you haven't invested that time, so do it. And like I said, you don't have to create a list of 100. Just, hey, I have a few minutes. Here's some people that are close to me. I'm going to reach out and tell them. I do my employees the same way. If there's anything that sometimes come up, and I'm like, you know what, I haven't, because I tease with my employees, we crack on each other. But you know what, if I see something really good, they made a special effort. I'm like, you know what, I've not really genuinely praised them. And so I might send them an email, I might send them a text, or bump into them and say, I really notice what you're doing. You're really adding value to the food bank and what we're doing. And you can just see sometimes it just really
Yeah.
lifts them up like a hot air balloon. I mean, they really like, first of all, my boss notices me, he appreciates me, He values what I'm doing for the company. And guess what? Now that employee comes back with a greater attitude, a greater work ethic, because we love praise. We love gratefulness to be expressed to us. That just makes us work harder.
You were talking about micro goals a few seconds and you said the words bite by bite, which is perfect because we have another show called Bite by Bite, which we'll be doing here next that is exclusive to, of course, the Heart of Alabama Food Bank and the food pantries and Feeding America. We'll do that right after this show. And of course, you can hear both these shows wherever you get your favorite podcast. We're available on every major industry. You can hear it all on Tony Curry Radio. Finally, small acts of self-care. I have to be really careful in my life because I think this is the American way that we deserve things. I always tell people, you don't deserve anything. Don't ever tell yourself, I deserve the better car. I deserve the bigger thing. I deserve that. I've been working really hard. I deserve this. You got to be really careful when you get into some self-pride, but certainly to have some self-care just to make sure that you're reacting and doing, whether it's going to get a massage at the Woodhouse Day Spa for a day or whatever on occasion. It's good to look after yourself.
Yeah, making sure you get into bed in time, learning to say no. Lots of times we overwhelm ourselves. I'm very critical of my own self, wanting to help people or wanting to, do as much as I can, overwhelm myself, and then I'm too tired. I lose the effectiveness. I'm not in the right mindset, and it's all because I didn't take care of myself. I didn't go to bed early enough. I'm not eating healthy. I'm not doing the micro burst of exercises, whatever it is that you can do. So put all that right in there together with it.
Go get a nice quick little run up to the stop sign down there in Montgomery. Will you just put on your gym shoes?
I will.
Run around the block real quick.
Well,
you see this.
I don't know about coming back. If I get there, they're going to say somebody's going to call 911 because I'm going to be hanging on the sign looking like I'm dying from a heart attack.
Happy Easter to you, my friend, and I appreciate all you do.
You as well, my friend.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Curry Radio.